Hey everybody, welcome to the Hamakua Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany. Today you are going to get a glimpse into what it's like to slaughter Today you are going to get a glimpse of what it was like for us to harvest 9 Cornish Cross meat birds. And then we are going to talk about what it cost to raise these birds, and I'm sure you're wondering, was it worth it? These birds are bred to grow very, very quickly for a quick harvest. So these guys were only about 2 months old. So right now I'm going to show you what it was like on butchering day, and then we'll come back and we'll talk math. It's chicken day.
Chicken, come. Bye, 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 bye.
Bread shit. That's awesome. Well, my dad wasn't like it. At the tech store, which is massive, massive price.
Oh yeah, forgot about that part. They flop around and make a bloody yeah.
We just pulled the hose in the top as it's spinning.
Well, how do you turn it on then?
The button on the bottom-ish.
Got it.
No power. Oh, hello. It's not working. We fix them.
No plucker. Not for now.
Well, that's not good.
See how low he is, Jimmy? See where the joint is?
Yeah. You want it kind of right in the
See where it
middle,
pops?
and it's just like a drumstick, you know.
Right here.
Whoa!
Go get it. In my shoes.
Well, that turned into quite a lot of work. My battery died there at the end, but we ended up getting all 9 of the chickens into the freezer, plus 2 of our roosters, because you know, we definitely do not need 4 roosters. So we ended up separating them into thighs, breasts, drums, We kept 3 of them whole, and then also the 2 additional roosters from the coop, we kept them whole. They'll turn into a really nice broth later on. We're gonna go ahead and call it a day. That was a long process. Okay, so now that that part of the job is done, let's talk about the math. Money, time, materials, what went into all of this? Now, I do want to let you guys know that anything that involved these chickens that I purchased from my employer did come with an employee discount. And I am including that in my breakdown today. But I figured that that might actually be helpful because most of the prices that you guys are dealing with at feed stores are a lot less than here in Hawaii, so it might balance out a little bit. Let's start with the setup. When the chickens are very tiny, all you gotta do is have them in a large cardboard box inside your house with a light bulb. That's easy. You don't really need much of a setup. Just a way to give them feed and water, depending on the time of year and your location, of course. Then we move them outside after a few weeks and we have a setup for them there. This coop cost nearly nothing when I put it together and started using it last year. This cage is a crate that was used for shipping lawnmowers commercially, and I was able to salvage it before it went into the trash. The wire was mostly left over and laying around for years. I did purchase a small amount to fill in a few sections. I used and purchased 15 feet of wire, and that cost me $15.30. This door and these hinges, they are salvaged, just stuff we already had from previous projects. And the paint was salvaged too. The floor of the coop is made out of plywood. If I were to go buy a piece of plywood right now in Home Depot or anywhere else in town, it would be about $75. So I'm gonna go ahead and include that because I did spend about $75 on this last year. Underneath the plywood, what is holding it up is sawhorses that have been here for a gajillion years, and I'm not including that in the cost because they're just here already. Now let's talk about feed, shavings, and water. I've been reusing the same feeders and waterers for years, so I'm not going to include the cost of the feeders in today's math, but I am going to include the cost of the new waterer. These chickens need a lot of water. So I went ahead and upgraded our waterer, and I am super happy that I did because this waterer is not only larger, it holds enough water for them to have all throughout the entire day until I come back from work and water them again. And also I can just open the lid and fill it from the top with a hose, which makes my job a lot easier. The new waterer cost me $38.26. As for the shavings, they do need more shavings than your average chicken because they're very, very lazy birds and they are stinky and messy. We went through 3 bags of shavings at $6.37 per bag. This brings the total cost of shavings up to $19.09. I am not complaining about the shavings because I'm just gonna go ahead and turn around and put it in my garden beds anyway. What are you doing, ma'am? What are you talking about? Hello? Ma'am? Now on to the feed. You're probably wondering how much feed did these monsters eat? There is a flaw in my math today because we raised up 7 egg-laying chicks with them, so they were in there eating the feed too. Now, granted, they don't eat nearly as much feed when you compare them to a Cornish Cross, so for the sake of this video, I'm gonna leave them out of it. Over the 2 months, these chicks went through 8 bags of organic chick feed at $34 per bag. This brings the feed total to $272. Okay, well that's most of it, but we do need to add in the cost of the actual chicks themselves, as they were not salvaged. We purchased 12 Cornish Cross hens at $2.97 a piece. So the chicks cost $35.70. All right, so now let's add it all up. On materials, we spent $147.65. This number is so low because we salvaged and repurposed many of our materials, which is very, very common practice here in Hawaii and when you live on any island, I'd imagine. And also that just proves that you can raise chickens or do whatever you need to do without running out and buying the new fancy, shiny, new pretty things. On chicks, we spent $35.70, but 2 chicks didn't make it past the first few days, and one of them passed away about a week before it was harvesting day for unknown causes. But I am going to include her in the costs because, truth be told, we fed her for 2 months. And it happens sometimes, so it's realistic. Altogether, this is $455.35. And because I already had the setup and I already do my evening rounds feeding all the animals, I spent about 5 to 10 minutes a day working with the birds, but I didn't calculate that into this at all. And just for fun, let's pretend that we keep the setup exactly the same that it is right now for next year, and we only have to purchase shavings and feed for 10 birds next year. In that particular scenario, if all goes well and according to plan, I would spend $326.79, bringing the cost down to $32.98 per bird, purchased and harvested. I made some phone calls today and I was looking online and I wanted to know what the local prices for organic chicken meat is. Here's what I came up with. The average price of a whole organic chicken in town is $6.32 per pound. You're a nut job, lady. I'm not even gonna bother mentioning the $12.59 chicken breasts that I came across. That's $65 for 3 of our chicken breasts. Each of our chickens weighed about roughly 7 pounds a piece. That would make each of our chickens whole $45 in the grocery store. All right, so there you have it. This year we have $45 chickens, but next year, if we don't need to do anything and all goes well, they will be $32 chickens. Here comes the question. Is it worth it? For me, yes. Yes, it is worth it. Not only because I know already that next year's chicken is going to be cheaper than what it would be in town. Finding anything local and organic is always very difficult and very expensive. But also, I know where these chickens were raised, I know what they were fed, and I know how they were treated. And that is very important to me and to our family. Sure, getting this set up in the beginning. Hello. I don't think she wanted you to do that, sir. Sure, getting set up in the beginning could get kind of pricey, but there are ways around that by saving wherever you can, scrimping, salvaging, repurposing. There are ways to bring that original cost down. And I'm willing to bet that most of you guys would be perfectly happy with a makeshift setup just like mine. It served its purpose very, very well. So if you guys have any additional questions, or if I missed something or left something out, please go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Hamakua Homestead. I'll see you again soon. Hello, sir. You're beautiful.